Welcome to Kirsty TV. I'm here today with an amazing guy, DJ Verrett, who after being sentenced for drug-related charges to 16 and a half years in a federal prison and being transferred to 13 different prisons, he says that he realised he had the power to free himself even behind a concrete wall. Thank you so much for being here today, DJ.
Thank you for having me, Kirsty.
What age were you when you got into the bad side of things and started dealing in drugs and illegal activity?
14.
Wow. Do you look back now and think you were just a kid?
Yeah, I was a child. I was just a child, and I was very lost. But the ones who brought me to that way of life, you know, they made it look so easy. It was like I got $27 in my pocket, and you mean I can make $300 if I just keep flipping this $27? And that's what happened, and I got the bug.
And then the day that you got caught, and the judge reads out to you that you're going to prison for 16 and a half years. What was that moment like?
I just said, you know, this is the ugly side of the game. Yeah, I was upset and pissed off and angry, but
Were you scared?
No, I was angry. Yeah. Because they betrayed me. The ones who brought me into this way of life betrayed me.
I can't even imagine being told that I'm going to spend the next 16 and a half years in a prison.
There was no tomorrow. There was no tomorrow. There wasn't even a right now.
What was the hardest thing about being sent to prison?
Growing up in there.
Yeah. You know, that broke my heart when I was reading your book. And it was your 30th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And you realised that you had spent your whole 20s. I'm going to get upset.
Get me to start crying because it's an emotional thing for me. Yeah.
That just broke my heart. I just went, your whole 20s.
I grew up
not just a year, but you'd lost a decade of your life.
Yeah.
How hard was that for you, that day, that 30th birthday?
It was hard. It was hard. I never knew that my decisions and my actions can affect my family.
When I was reading your book, some of the things that stood out to me was the dehumanization. The
incomprehensible demoralization of...
What did you find the hardest? Because...
One of the hardest things, and you see in my book, that when I first got arrested, they say, okay, we need you to strip. What do you mean, strip? I said, we need you to take your clothes off and show me your body cavities. I'm like, oh wow, this is not right. They never told me about the ugly side of the game, the prison.
And you talked about the black box. That was one of your least favorite.
Yeah, it's a contraption. You sit like this. You can't move anything but your hands like this. And when you act up, they put you on the Con Air, which is an airplane, and they put a black box on you, and it's chained to your waist, so you can't move you can't even go like this. You can only move your fingers like this. And there's no twisting, and that will teach you how to meditate.
Because otherwise you'd go nuts.
You will go nuts.
And that's the dehumanization part. That's really hard.
Like a chained animal.
And the solitary.
I can cross my cell in 4 steps.
And you were in there for 9 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
One time. You know, I take all this, I'm so grateful that the universe saved me and saved me for a greater purpose, because I learned how to have a relationship with myself when I'm by myself. So it teaches me how to get within myself and entertain myself and have a meaningful and purposeful relationship with myself.
So how did that shift happen?
I looked in the mirror, and that's when I confessed everything.
To yourself?
Yeah, because when I had to use the bathroom, I looked up and my hand touched the stainless steel mirror bolted to the wall, and I saw only my eyes. And I thought somebody was in a cell with me, and I turned around and looked, there was nobody. And I spoke to myself for hours. I became a part of the prison. This is not what D1 or DJ wanted when he was a child, mowing lawns and collecting cans. He did not want this.
What did you really want for yourself?
I wanted to be happy. I want what we call the hip square, was the family. I want a career. I want to work, you know, things like that.
So the title of your book is It's an Inside Job. What do you mean by that?
Happiness, freedom comes from within. It's an inside job.
So at this point, you started to think about other possibilities. Did you?
Is it possible?
Yeah.
Is it possible for somebody like me?
You really talk about you've got to go out of yourself to get into yourself.
Because if you don't, that's the end of yourself.
But there was a moment, I remember there was this moment that you were doing heroin, I think, at the time, and you were high, and they were talking about you as if you weren't there and saying,
I heard it.
That's what Ghost always does.
Yeah, he's been like that ever since I known him.
Yeah.
He's, I'm nodding out, drooling. Like, he's been like that ever since I know. That was my moment of clarity.
What happened to start the process of healing? How do you heal?
Well, I learned that from that he's been like that ever since I've known him, and the process before all that happened, that I had a choice. But that's it was a process, and this is what I get the chance now to go back into the judicial system and say, yes, man, I've been here, and this is the process. I'm sure, and I know that everybody in this room had felt like this before, but you have to be willing. I knew that it had to change. It had to change. I had to go to something greater than drugs and alcohol to help me, which is, I call it the universe, God, the universe. And this is what happened for me, Kirsty.
When you were released, what was that day like?
Oh wow, the day
back to America.
I'm meditating. I'm in my cell meditating, and I'm chanting.
So you're doing this the day that you're going to be released.
This is the last time that I'm going to use that shower. This is the last time I'm going to brush my teeth. This is the last time I'm going to sleep in this building.
Wow.
This is the last day I'm going to walk this yard. I will never come back here again unless I wear a visitor's badge.
What were the emotions, though, because it had been your home for 16 years?
I was very grateful, and I was ready. I wasn't scared. I was ready.
Yeah.
What is this adventure going to be like? And the day, there was ups and downs, but I stayed the course.
What would you say to your 14-year-old self?
That he's enough. That he's enough. That he's okay. That he's enough. Can remember, I'm looking for love in all the wrong places.
What's been the biggest learning from this whole experience for you?
I didn't know the impact that it was going to have.
Yeah.
That the influence that I can have on people. And when I walked around that corner, I saw all these guys. They were waiting there for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were watching me through this process.
Yeah.
And the man who taught me how to shave was there. And said,
you became a man in prison. You grew up. They
and
taught
I walked
you
out there and
things that a dad should have taught you.
Yeah, he taught me how to shave. Yeah, and he said, "Man, you're gonna be useful."
Hugs. So no matter what you're going through, try and get out of yourself by going back into yourself. I think that is just such a powerful message, and think about what you can do to help others, because it really helps all of us. I look forward to seeing you next time.